Welcome everybody back to another Boldcast reaction. I'm Lindsay.
I'm Carson.
And today we are watching Horimiya episode 10. What happened last time?
Last time was a lot of cool stuff. Fuck, I forget his name. Miyamura's buddy, or former buddy, former classmate who sold him down the river and blamed him on the bunnies. They sort of made up, as well as the other guy with the longer hair, the slightly taller guy that was like bullying him as well. He's sort of, building new bridges in that way, and also getting closer with Hori in another way, and ready to see more of whatever this show's gonna offer us this time. Last episode was really good. Happy and excited to see what's gonna happen this time.
Yeah. If you like this video, please make sure to like it. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and support the official release. This is our reaction, our review, not a place to watch the show for free. Let's go.
Jesus, Hori is a total fucking train wreck. The more that we like get into the series, the more I'm just like, God, Hori is a psycho. He's gay now. I'm stealing him. Oh my God. He's right behind me, isn't he? A wild Shindo appears. See, they're making a joke out of this, but like something like...
Great deal.
I see where this is going, and like, they're just making it into a joke, but it's really bad a thing when a girl, like, basically, no, you're not allowed to have fun outside of our relationship. That's not, that ruins, like, innumerable friendships, and then the fucking it's the story as old as time. The girl steals the guy away, like, he's just starting to, and the thing is, obviously, or I don't know if it's obvious. I don't know if they're actually not going that direction. But it seems like it's just a joke, right?
Yeah.
But like, I can't tell if they're gonna actually go into that, or if it's just gonna be a joke.
Like, I'm feeling, and I'm kind of hoping that this is just like a one episode or like half episode skit of like, oh, I can't be near any guys ever, and then it's like, okay, actually, it's not that deep. You can settle down.
Yeah. I don't know what I want out of it, because, like, it seems like a waste of time to go down this road when we could get, like, other romantic progression. Instead, we're just fucking around, like, joking about Miyamura being gay for, like, half an episode, which seems kind of dumb because, like, that was about as far as I could take the joke. I don't think I'm gonna find it very funny if the rest of the episode, unless they, like, turn it into a real thing where, like, she's, like, all worried about him, like, branching out and forgetting about her, and then she eventually realizes that that's an issue. But I don't want to assume too much. I just really hope that it's not played out for the entire thing. Get a backpack. Oh boy.
With glasses. Now he can see
Finally.
what she looks like.
Far out of her league. I feel like he said it backwards. It's like, no, I'm way out of her league. She can't she can't even touch me. Do you like him? No, you don't.
私は嘘つきだ。あの二人付き合ってるらしいよ。そう
Mm.
なんだ。やっぱりいつも一緒だもんね。だよね。お似合いだよね。
More love triangle. Thought this was mostly resolved by this point, but I guess not.
河野さんが誤解してるのを知ってる。誤解？河野さん、私とどう思ってんでしょ？そうなの？私
Oh god.
なんか
They're both confiding in the same person.
やってることになってるってどうしても言えなくて、なんで本当のことが言えなかったのか。私が本当のことさくらに言うかもって思って今日誘ったの。ゆきちゃんが石川くんのこと好きだって認めたら黙っててあげる。ずるいよ。別にずるくない。ずるいのはゆきちゃんの方。そうだ。ずるいのは私だ。
Yeah, you're jealous. You're jealous and
河
you're
野さんが傷つくって知ってて嘘ついた。私人の唇ってあんな風に震えるんだって初めて知ったよ。レミちゃん、私ね、本当は。そっか、ゆきちゃん、わかった。いつまでも続くわけじゃないのにな。別に私のこと好きでも何でもないのにな。恋人ごっこはあの日でやめておけばよかったんだ。俺が手なんかつなぐから。
Wait, this is... How long has he just been pretending to date you?
続けてって言ったら続けてくれたりする。彼氏のふり。
いいけど、俺は。
トフルがついてくれてる嘘を私が
Straight up bunny girl.
したいのかもしれない。
Literally bunny girl.
でもそれはきっといけないことなんだ。
ちょっといい加減学校行きなさいよ。出席日数とか大丈夫なの？返事くらいしろ。堀さんって子から電話があった。これの電源切ってんだって。せまた欲しいものでもあるんでしょ。あんたどうしても欲しいものって周りに言わないでしょ。なんでか知らないけど、あることなんて恥ずかしいことじゃないのよ。それが手に入るにしろ入らないにしろ。
Yeah.
そのくせいっつも後で文句言うじゃん。
私もお姉ちゃんと同じ組が欲しい。
ゆきちゃん、さっきいらないって言ったじゃない。
That's exactly fucking right. You can't cry if you just let everything slip you by all the time.
あげるよ。欲しいなら最初からそう言いなさいよ。
Really cute little
あん
kid.
たの悪い癖。そういえばもう作らないのクッキー。うまくいったやつあったじゃない。真っ白のさ、雪みたいな。あれ美味しかったのに。
真っ白の雪みたいな。
Yuki means snow, if you remember. Wait for it, wait for it.
そう。うん。元気そうだよ。
Oh god, please. Can we stop?
メールで見たよ。もう最悪だよ。でも結局苦手なくね。
Oh no, please don't.
ちょっといいか。
Okay, never mind. Maybe it's okay. Let this be a lesson to her. to not fucking... Please, don't let this be a confession. Go with Sakura. She may not be a main character, but she's... I like her a lot more than Yuki. Is she gonna confess? No, he's gonna confess. He's gonna say, I turned her down.
That's what it's looking like.
Yeah.
あの人に返事いらないって言われたんだけど。
いらない？
うん。なんか俺と吉川が付き合ってるって勘違いしてて、ただ言いたかっただけらしい。
トール、その時言わなかったの？勘違いしてるよって。
そんな別にどうしても否定しなきゃいけないことでもない。吉川と約束したことだから。
約束なんてなかったら、トールはなんて返事するつもりだった？
俺に河野さんはもったいないでしょ。
Oh my fucking god. Jesus, teenagers are so dumb. Just like so overcomplicating.
そうだな。
てっきりこの人は優しいあの人の隣に行ってしまうのだと思っていた。
吉川最近作ってくんないじゃん。黒焦げクッキー。
うるさいな。もう焦げないもん。私はずるい。さんは美味しいクッキーをたくさん作って。
Yeah, that's really shitty what you did there. Really shitty.
ちゃんと伝えた。なのに私は逃げてばかりだ。二人が付き合わないって分かってほっとしてるくせにもらえなかったらと思うと、はっきりさせることが怖くてたまらない。でも私だって。
You better like make a decision, or this is gonna piss me off if this doesn't end with her like saying something about it at the very least.
わがままばっかりだな私。あの人が温かな桜なら、私はきっと泥だらけの。
Okay, can we stop like feeling sorry for ourselves and like do something in real life?
吉川の息白くなってる。
一番の冷え込みだって。
寒いなら寒いで雪でも降ってくれる。
Now we're talking about the weather. It could at least snow. Oh, he wants snow. He wants Yuki.
今年は少し楽しみでさ。
He's looking forward to some snow.
雪なんて降らない方がいいよ。
そうか？雪綺麗じゃん。
綺麗かもしれないけど、ちょだけだし。雪かき面倒だよ。滑るし。
ああ、宮村とかこけそうだよな。
それにもう残ってたらみんな困るよ。溶けるの待たなきゃね。
Waits for the Sakura to bloom.
春になるから雪が溶けるわけじゃねえだろ。
え？
雪が自分でって思ってるから溶けていくんだよ。どんなに周りが溶けないでくれって思っても雪がそう思い込んでんの。だから溶けんの。わかる？
あったかくなるから溶けるんだよ。
桜が雪に溶けてくださいとお願いしたとでも言うのか？
I wonder if this was planned from the beginning.
言ってるんだよ。
I'm sure.
With their names, like I wonder if it was planned from the beginning.
小学校しないよ。真面目な顔してバカみたい。嬉しい。
But are you gonna do something about it?
バカだな、本当にトールは。
吉川ほどじゃねえよ。今日初めて笑ったじゃん。
なんでわかったの？
わかるよ。寒いから戻るか。
起きたくせに何言ってんの？
まあまあ、だけ。
ああ、早く雪降らないかな。真っ白な。彼氏ができたって。
なんというか最後だった気がするんだ。
Is it Akane?
じゃあ今日塾だから。
The exact opposite? Why would she be happy? getting a girlfriend.
I think it's because she
not
confessed and then now she can move on.
床の消しカスが気になって。レミが開けてくれてたからな。忘れてたよ。ありがとう。さ、さくら、最近何か？でも嬉しいことがあったってわけでもなさそうだし。なんか俺の考えすぎだったらごめん。さくら。
私帰るの手伝えなくてごめん。
いや、さくら。なんかあったんじゃないか。
別に何もないの。
Not false.
前に振られちゃった。そんだけ。そんだけ。
It's so shitty. Like,
マジでバカだな。頭が悪い。
what a bitch move by Yuki.
選ばないなんてどこの男だ、そいつは。大学者だ。だろ。同級生が声を上げて泣くところなんて初めて見た。誰も悪くないから辛いんだな。
That's not true. That's not true.
雪降り始めたな。
That's not true. Nobody, like, Yuki's in the wrong. Am I crazy about this? Like,
I think
like, okay, it's high school shit. It's just what happens. It's to be expected. Somebody's gotta lose, right? However, how Yuki won was like, that's so shitty.
Was it though?
I-
Like, what is it really the most?
Let's break it down. First, she saw that they were getting closer. Another guy came up to her and confessed and like was wanting to get with her. So she, knowing that the guy that she liked was getting with another girl and they seemed to be having a healthy, exchange, maybe they liked each other, said, "Hey, can you pretend to be my boyfriend for a day? Oh, actually longer, until it goes away." And then eventually, like, it seems really manipulative to me. And it could have been, like, okay, like I said, it's high school, somebody's gotta lose. But, like, to do that, and then to, like, not make a decision and go into this whole thing about how she has trouble, like, speaking up when she wants something and, like, making that decision and being really decisive. I don't fault her for having flaws, obviously. That's just her flaw, which is fine. The problem that I have is that she didn't, on top of all that, the problem that I have is that she didn't come out and say anything. And to be fair, I like the writing decision that they made of the whole metaphor with their names and the seasons and the changing of the seasons and stuff like that. I like that. I think it was well written and well done. But in terms of her character and, like, moving forward with, and, like, overcoming that part, she didn't. He came to her and basically, like, had to confess to her and bring her out of her shell. She didn't have that, like, catharsis of, I've always had this thing where I don't say what I want. I've always had this thing where I'm indecisive.
Okay, but how realistic do you think it would be for her to just all of a sudden, oh yeah, now I've never said anything in my entire life about wanting something, but now just because of character development for the show, I'm going to suddenly change all of that in one moment rather than...
It's not about changing it, but it's about overcoming the problems that she had.
I think it's like her talking in like weird metaphors and stuff is like the best she could do in that moment because she's had this problem for so long. So telling him without directly telling him, but he understood what she was talking about.
barely said it. It was more he, like, dragged it out of her. Again, it's like, it's not just that. It's that before that, this whole pretext was established because she was jealous of what was going on, and she manipulated the situation. I know it wasn't this part of this grand plan, but again, it's like you set this up, you like made what was going on with Sakura and him impossible because you were selfishly like pulling him away, and then that created this situation where she doesn't even have a chance, even though she's putting so much effort into it, and it was seemingly working. And just judging by his speech, he did like Yuki more, but it was only because she artificially manipulated the situation.
You don't like. What if he had she liked him for like years? They were always like friends
for years,
or for like however long. It seems like she had liked him for a long time,
possibly. But she, again, it's like she didn't make good on what happened. She manipulated the situation. She pulled him away from this other thing without having the courage and the necessary, like, she didn't earn it. She pulled him away from another situation because she was jealous, and then used that to basically get all of his attention from her, put it on herself, even if it was fake, and then foster this sort. And then she didn't even end up saying, like, coming out and saying it in that moment. And yes, it's part of her character that she doesn't just come out and say it, and it was really well written. But in light of all of this, I don't see that as like, oh, but in the end, nobody was wrong. It's like somebody was. Sakura's not wrong. Sakura was fully like. She had the strength to overcome her problem of her body image issues and feeling like the fucking ugly one all the time. She managed to overcome that and have confidence in herself and put in the effort to make herself available to the guy that she liked. She confessed to the guy that she liked. But because of this artificial shitty situation that she had nothing to do with, she had no chance because of this bullshit cover, basically. Like, it was for this thing where Yuki was trying to use, like, that to me, it seems like just a justification in the end, and it kind of was, because she wanted it. She even admitted, like, oh, I just want this to keep going, even though it's a lie, even though I'm pulling him away from everything else. I want it to keep going, selfishly. She's being selfish. It's selfish, and I mean, she got the guy in the end, I guess, but the idea that, like, she did nothing wrong, I think, is really shitty, because she did, you know, she didn't overcome her problem. Sakura was overcoming her confidence issues. And you think just because Sakura overcame her problems that she should get the guy rather than who the guy actually liked? No. He liked both of them. It was over the course of this fake relationship that he grew feelings, but that only came about because Yuki was taking advantage of the situation and using his kindness against Sakura in this competition. And from a story perspective, I definitely think it makes more sense for Sakura, but also it also makes sense here. Like, both are equally tangible. I'm not saying that it doesn't make sense story-wise or character-wise for this to happen, but the idea that Yuki did nothing wrong, I think, is incorrect based on everything. That's all I'm saying. Like it just seems like to act like she didn't manipulate the situation and create it's unfair, and maybe it's not supposed to be fair, but I would just like to acknowledge that Yuki was not playing fair, and she did not overcome her own issues. She didn't overcome her problems. Do you disagree?
I guess I don't necessarily disagree, but I don't think that she is. Like, okay, if Sakura and Yuki were competing, like, say it's not a guy, say they were competing for something. What did Yuki do to get Toru in the end?
what did she do in order for that to happen? What did she do?
Spent a lot of time with him and in this fake relationship, but to be fair, she wasn't even the one who set up the fake relationship in the first place.
Who did?
If you
Maybe
remember,
I'm forgetting.
Hori, it was like, oh, what if we like got someone to pretend that it was your boyfriend? And then Miyamura's like, oh, I already called him and he's coming over to pretend to be your boyfriend.
Right, right. But she still went along with it. It was still a choice. It was still a choice on her part. She chose to do that. No?
Yeah, but he chose to participate in that as well.
Yes. Yes. Because he was trying to be a good friend, not because he... Oh, well, I don't want Sakura. I want to be in a relationship with Yuki. He was just trying to be a good friend and help her out because he thought that she was having trouble with this guy. But she used that to separate this other situation. She was effectively breaking them up in order to... She was dividing and conquering, essentially. And I don't see how that's honorable in any way. I don't see how that's like a fair game.
I guess. I don't know. I guess it's just life isn't fair a lot of the time. So, I still think it is an interesting story. And
yeah, I think it's an interesting story. I never said I don't think it's an interesting story.
I know. I'm saying I feel really shitty for Sakura, but I think I don't know. Maybe I relate to Yuki a lot more. That. I that is very
I figured you
very
would.
much. So I guess. But I guess the thing is, I think she, like, was taking advantage of the situation, but I don't think she was purposefully setting out to, like every move was, like, super calculated.
Yeah,
Like,
I said that
I'm gonna do that. It's just,
I said that as well. I covered that in my take. My thing is, whether you are setting out from the beginning with a master plan to rip this guy away out of this completely healthy exchange that's happening and building between them and this rapport, using using your connection with him to pull him away from that out of this, oh no, I just need help, can you help me? Oh, I don't want this to stop, I'm just gonna let this keep going. And then, like, just continually having the choice to do something different, having the choice to overcome your problems, having the choice to say what you want and, you know, really earn my respect, I guess. But, like, really, like, be forthright and honest and be a fully fledged person, not just... I'm just gonna wait. She waited. She took no action. She waited. Everyone else, like you said, does that make it better that Hori and Miyamura set this up for her? I think it makes it even worse somehow. Because she just sat there, did nothing, and it paid off. Whereas Sakura, like, overcame her problems, was gaining confidence, was becoming her own person outside of Reimi's shadow. Like, going out and seizing what she wanted through her own effort, putting in so much effort and time and really caring about it. And if that's... And again, okay, here's another thing. So all that is true, right? Mm-hmm. I think, in my opinion, that's all true. That if the show was being like... And maybe they kind of are, but what rubs me the wrong way about it, in a way, is what Sengoku says at the end of, like, and the worst part is, nobody's even wrong. So the fact that the show is saying that Yuki did nothing wrong is kind of rubbing me the wrong way, because that's just not true. She leveraged a prior relationship, and without being like, if she did, okay, there's nothing wrong with using an advantage and, like, okay, I'm friends with this guy, I want to be with this guy, right? Using your relationship with him to do that is not a problem. The problem is she actually didn't. They set that up, and she just went along with it until eventually it worked out for her. How is that, like, you know? Like,
but I mean, we also never get his perspective.
We did! We did! We got it at the end. He said it. He said it at the end.
No, but did he ever say, oh, I used to like soccer, or I never cared about you in any way before, but then, just as I was starting to like Sakura, then I suddenly...
I mean, he didn't explicitly spell all of that out.
But I guess the thing is I think that they're like, potentially before this, he knows her very, very well. Yeah. So I think he might have known...
He never expressed any kind of interest before. I've been watching the same show as you for the last 10 episodes.
I guess, but also the thing that I think is a different important thing is I think even though Sakura puts in all this effort, as you say, like does all these great things, that doesn't mean that the person who you are trying to impress will return those feelings.
That's true.
Just because, even if they choose someone who is maybe less deserving.
But he was. Like, yeah, okay, that's fair. He's a person too, right? He's not just a prize. I get that. He's a person too. He has his own motivations. But he was returning it. If none of this happened, if none of this shit with Yuki happened, I'm of the mind, based on what we saw before in the development in the relationship before, it would have gone fine. They probably would have been dating. They probably would have had a good time. And that would have been good because it was earned. And Yuki did fucking nothing. What did she do to like set this up? All she did was, oh, I just want this to keep going. I just want, you know, I don't want to stop it. I wish this could go on forever. I wish this, you know, like, do you disagree? Do you have anything to say about that?
I'm
like,
just saying,
or
like,
what?
I don't, like...
Can I go to the bathroom while you think about this?
If you want to.
I do really want to.
Okay, then go.
Do you have a justification for murder? I want to make something clear. I don't dislike Yuki. I don't dislike the way the story went. I just wish that if she was going to triumph in that situation, I wish she overcame her issues as a character, or at least showed some progress there. Because the way the conversation went, he was the one arguing basically that they should be together. Whereas she was arguing against it, but there was no breakthrough where, like, at the end of this metaphorical discussion, she outright explicitly asks or confesses to him or makes her feelings known. She just lets this, like, subtext go by, and then she wins. That's my problem with it, is that there wasn't character growth. This wasn't it felt like she won without really winning. She didn't, like, do anything from a character perspective to deserve it. If this was a real life relationship, it'd be like, what, you know, whatever, is that shit happens, I guess. But it's like this thing of her being, her entire, like, problem as a character, all this shit has been built up, not just in this episode, but I'm pretty sure in a previous episode as well, it was talked about. And then it just wasn't, the loop wasn't closed. She didn't, like, become realized. She didn't, like, she didn't overcome her struggle. Whereas I feel like Sakura did, and then failed still because of this shit that Yuki did, and then the show says that nobody did anything wrong. And if the show was taking an angle of, well, that's just how it goes, I guess, that would be fine. But the fact that they say that she did nothing wrong puts that into question for me, whether the show is actually going for that type of theme. What do you have to say?
I guess, okay, no, I'm just thinking a bit more about, nobody did anything wrong. It could also be, like, it's like nobody, like, are you really going to say that she, like, currently now, if they, like, are dating or whatever, is, like, is she in the wrong for, like, should she have just said, no, like, you know what I mean? Like, that it all ended up that way and that it's like that now, is that really wrong in any way? Like, did any, like, you know what I mean?
No, I don't.
I guess, I don't know, I guess, like, I'm not expecting this crazy character development. I don't need that in order to feel like that's just how it went. Like, I'm not looking at it like, oh, I kind of wish that she didn't get it so that it could show that...
I didn't say that.
No, I know.
I didn't say that.
I'm not saying that you said that. I'm saying that I think that it is just... It's just how it is, you know? Like, and, like...
What?
Like, that's just how it happened, and that's how it is, and it's shitty, and Sakura feels like shit about it.
You're not saying it's shitty. You're saying that that's good. You're saying what happened is good. Is that good?
I'm saying that's what happened.
I'm not disagreeing that that's what happened. Do you even know what I'm arguing for? I've explained it like 5 times. I've literally said the same thing like 5 times. Do you know what I'm arguing about?
Okay, I guess the thing is, I think, yes, she has done some shitty things, but I also think she is dealing with a lot internally, and it is really hard for her to express, like almost impossible.
100%.
Therefore, I think even her talking in like metaphors and like having that moment is enough to like maybe set her in a slightly different direction, or like, no,
you are, first of all, you aren't listening. I literally covered that like probably 3 times. Yes, that would be fine if she was leading the conversation. But she was in that conversation still saying the same thing of, oh, well, you know, nobody wants the snow. And then he has to say, I want the snow. She's not coming up to him and overcoming this thing where she says what she wants. She goes after it. The whole thing, exactly what her sister said. It's like, there's nothing wrong with wanting something. There's nothing wrong with wanting to be with him. It's not embarrassing. It's not bad. What's bad is not fucking saying anything about it and then crying about it when you don't get your way. That's shitty. And it's shitty when you do that after setting up. Okay, it's shitty to cry about things when you didn't even say you wanted them and didn't even try to get them. You didn't actually try. And then, after that, how does it resolve? She doesn't try. He tries to get her. And then, it just works out. And that's good, and that's character growth. That's a positive direction. Yes, it's just how shit goes. Of course, it's a relationship in high school. That's how it goes. It's, you know, like, whatever. The problem is there was character development set up, and she didn't overcome her own struggle, whereas the other person did, and she just sat there and then she got it in the end. And through manipulation, through like leveraging and she didn't even leverage the relationship. She sat there while her friends leveraged the relationship, and then she like kept it going as much as he could selfishly because she knew that he would go back to the other girl. So she didn't actually ever have to admit that she wanted anything. She just, it fell at her feet, and then and she was still doing this thing of like, oh, nobody wants the snow, making him chase after her in that way. She didn't confront it. She didn't like come face to face with her problems and fucking slay the dragon. She just like, the dragon just like killed itself in front of her, and then she walked back to the town with the gold. That's what happened.
Or why I sort of disagree with you of just thinking she's shitty and like doing all these manipulative things and stuff. I guess because I relate to her more, I view her talking on the roof and sort of expressing, even if it is in like metaphors and she's not directly saying it, because like that is way too difficult for her at this point. But the fact that she can even sort of say it in like a roundabout way that he will understand, to me, it seems like it is progress on her part. She's expressing how she feels and how she views herself, and he is like helping her through that and saying that he doesn't view her that way, and like you know, snow is beautiful, even if if you feel like you're melting and you're horrible and disgusting and all these things, though you feel like that because you are choosing to view yourself that way. You're blaming it on other people. You're saying, oh, Sakura is the spring is better than the winter, or the other girls are better than you, but that's because you don't believe that you are worthy of being thought of as beautiful. And even if you think that even if people see you as that, once they get to know the real you, they'll realize that you're ugly and you're shitty. And you know, like, people think snow's beautiful, but after it's been around for a while, they want it to go away.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So I think him saying that, and him saying she sort of says how she feels, and it's very matter of fact that this is how it is, and then he sort of responds and says, that he understands how she feels, but even though she thinks that she is like a pile of shitty melted snow, he doesn't feel that way, and he likes her regardless of her problems and her issues and the things that she's still working on. She doesn't have her shit together at all, but she is still worthy of being loved and being cared about as a person, even with all of her issues that are still ongoing, I guess.
I feel like that's fair. I feel like I can get behind that, I think.
And I think it is important as well, because especially with her whole thing was like waiting, letting other people take it, because she thought that letting other people have what she wanted, but that's all kind of stemmed from her self-worth regarding herself, not just that she was too scared to admit what she wanted. It was because she genuinely felt like she didn't deserve it, but then would be upset later because she would sort of have this thing of like, oh, but why don't I deserve it? Like, maybe I do deserve it, but by then it's too late. And I feel like I like in my life have struggled with similar things to that. It's like, oh, they obviously deserve it way more than me, but then the opportunity passes you by, and it's like, maybe that wasn't true. Like, but it's always too late in the moment. It's like she's so caught off guard every single time anything happens, and in this moment, which is what I think will allow her to move forward, she sort of like expresses her fears about why she's not telling him, oh, I like you. She sort of lays it out why, and he's sort of like, that's okay, I understand, and maybe like they can like work together. And with that support of knowing someone who is now seemingly like unconditionally cares about her and doesn't want to pressure her into things before she's ready, maybe she will be able to achieve expressing that she wants something before it passes her by.
I guess that's fair. Yeah, I guess I've said my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
I guess that's fair. Sure.
Yeah.
If that's what you think.
Okay, that is what...
The only thing I feel like that's fair, but the only thing that I would say I disagree with is, like, I guess my only problem with that is that it didn't feel as, like, forthright to me. It didn't feel like she was taking ownership for that, personally. But I can get behind that. Again, if this isn't the end, like, if the deal isn't sealed, then I can maybe get behind that. Mm-hmm. If there's more progress in the future, but if this was meant to be the conquering of that in herself, and like, oh, she's now, like, you know, if we go forward in the plot and that issue of hers is never addressed again, and this was meant to be the moment where that is resolved, and she moves forward with a better understanding, with a changed personality, with that growth, then that will feel a little bit cheap to me. But if this is a step in the right direction, then I can get behind that. Yeah. That's my thing.
I think I was viewing it as, this is not the end of that struggle for her, but this is a kind of a breakthrough of her feeling accepted after, like, people have begun to sort of notice this pattern about her. Fair. And I think she felt safe in opening up to him, not only because she liked him, but also he actually knows her very well, and he even called her out when she did smile during that interaction. He's like, that's the first time that you've smiled today. Even though earlier that day she was like doing the thing where she's pretending to be extra happy when she's actually feeling shitty. So I feel like that just like reaffirms that he really does understand her, and how she sort of hides herself away and like covers up how she's feeling. And then I also think it was interesting to see Sakura was doing the same thing. Like, there was a second that it was right. Like, there was a second where it was like, oh, it like she just got that off. Yeah. Like, because we didn't get too much into it this episode, it was mostly on Yuki, and then but then we do see, no, she was doing the same thing, so right. Her issues aren't over either.
The thing is, it felt really concrete and like this was the closing of this chapter.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I think I took it as this is the conclusion of this little mini arc. Like, this is the conclusion. She got the guy. Sakura lost. Even though Sakura did everything she could to overcome her own issues and gain confidence in herself, that wasn't paid off, which, you know, sometimes that just happens. The problem was it didn't feel like, as a conclusion to this character arc on the behalf of Yuki, it didn't feel like that was an earned victory. It didn't seem like she became victorious after after what she did before, and then for the show to say, nobody did anything wrong. So that's what's most difficult, is that nobody is wrong, because Yuki did do some shitty things there, in my opinion. So all of that together, that was my problem with it. Like I said, if it's not a conclusion, if it's just a step in the right direction, if we come back to this later and it's sort of expounded on more and there's more character growth and there's more steps in a different direction or whatever, if this is just one piece of the puzzle, then that's fine. But if it's a full-on character arc completed, she is grown as a person, she's now like a complete character, or, you know, that little fucking problem that she had in herself is now resolved, and that's how it was resolved, that would be dumb to me.
Yeah, I don't think that it was necessarily resolving, like, Sakura clearly, it's like, I feel like they've both grown, but they still have problems that they're going to need to keep working on for the foreseeable future, maybe even for the rest of their lives. These will be issues that are with them, but this is the end of this, like, love triangle where they're, like, competing. This is just how it this is the way it ended up. They ended up together and Sakura ended up alone. Yeah. And they're going to have to now, like, that's how it is, and they're going to have to grow with that in mind in the next portion.
I hope they do.
Yeah. So with that, we hope that you guys enjoyed this episode. Please let us know down below in the comments what you what your take was, maybe. Whose
side are you on? Are you team Sakura or what's her actual name? I forget. Team Sakura or team Yuki? Let us know.
But we hope that you enjoyed this episode and this discussion and everything else. We hope that you like this video if you're still here, and subscribe if you haven't already. Maybe check out our Patreon so you can get future episodes a week ahead and uncuts. And yeah, bye-bye.